Hello, Mrs. Maynard.
Hello.
Hi. I'm Dr. Mudley. I'm one of the psychiatrists.
Thank God. I've been wanting to speak to a doctor. I overheard one of the nurses saying that my son has got schizophrenia. I mean, no one's told me this, and I just need to know if this is what's going on.
Yeah. I'm here to answer whatever questions you have, and I can see you're really upset. Do you want to have a seat, and then I can explain to you more about what we think is wrong with your son? Is it Stephen?
It is Stephen.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I went to see Stephen, and then I heard one of the nurses saying, "Oh, yes, that's the young lad that's got schizophrenia." And as far as I was concerned, he was in here because he got himself in a bit of a mess because he'd been smoking cannabis.
Yes, I can see. I mean, what you're saying, I can explain a bit more about why you might have overheard what the nurses have said.
Right.
Well, and you're right, in a sense. I understand that Stephen has a history of using some cannabis.
I mean, I've told him time and time again it's a stupid thing to do, but, you're not they're like when they're young. It's really hard to control what they're doing.
Yeah, well, I can see it's a really difficult time for you, Mrs. Maynard. But what I can explain to you more about Stephen's condition is that, as you know, he has been using cannabis. Cannabis can cause someone to become, to have schizophrenia. It increases the risk, but it doesn't actually cause it. So it increases the risk by 4 to 6 times.
Right.
And also when someone smokes cannabis, it affects the chemical in the brain, which is the same as that which occurs in schizophrenia. So the symptoms present very similar. So that is why you might have thought that he had this breakdown because of the smoking the cannabis.
Right, but it's contributed to the schizophrenia in some way.
I think that's what it's still early days because Stephen's been with us for about a week.
Yeah.
But what I can say is that from the assessments that we've done and from talking to various people like yourself and others, and the tests that we've done, Stephen has what we call schizophrenia. Yeah. I can see it is a difficult time for you, Mrs. Maynard. Do you have any understanding of what schizophrenia is?
I mean, I don't know. Is that when people have sort of multiple personalities or something? I'm not too sure.
Well, the term was split personality. Yes, it's something like that. But what actually happens in schizophrenia, it is a serious mental illness, and it affects 1 in 100 people. It affects the way someone behaves, the way they think, and the way they feel. And I can explain to you more if you can tell me what you noticed were the changes with Stephen.
Well, he began acting very strangely. I mean, he seemed to think that his friends had turned against him, and I mean, at one point he was saying they were putting thoughts into his head. Before he came to hospital, he just barricaded himself into his bedroom and had to call the GP and get them out.
Well, it sounds like you were going through a really difficult time.
I feel terrible about the whole thing. I should have spotted something sooner.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, it's good that he's in hospital now, and he's getting the right treatment, which I'll explain to you later.
Right.
But coming back to explaining about schizophrenia, usually a person who has schizophrenia presents with positive symptoms, which we call hallucinations and delusions, which is similar to what Stephen had, where they have these strong beliefs that people are out to harm them, maybe, which are called delusions, and then hallucinations, where they might hear or see things when no one else is around. Okay. So that's one of the key symptoms that we look at. They also have negative symptoms where they end up not being able to do things which they usually are able to do. Like I understand Stephen dropped out of college as well because of his difficulties.
Oh, he just said he couldn't stand it when he went there. He felt people were, he said, putting thoughts into his head, and said it just messed with his brain, so he just stopped going.
Yeah, so that's what happens. The causes, you might be wondering what has happened.
I know my husband and I split up, it was about a year ago now. I mean, was it stress of that's caused it?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about you and your husband. It's not your fault, and it's not related to your marriage breakdown. What I can explain is that no one can pinpoint what the exact cause is for schizophrenia. There is a genetic component. Is there anyone in the family that has had schizophrenia?
Certainly not on mine, and not that I know of on my husband's. I don't think so.
Okay, well, usually there is someone in the family. There is a risk of someone developing schizophrenia. Then there's also other things like I explained, genetic. Then cannabis can result in people developing schizophrenia, but usually we find that if someone's using cannabis, they might have been using it to actually cope with a stressful situation.
Okay.
Yeah, and winter bugs and some other causes as well.
Right.
Moving on to the treatment, because it's good that Stephen is in a hospital now because he can get the right treatment. Are you familiar with any of the treatment options that is available?
No idea. Will he be able to get better? Can you help him?
Yeah. Well, the prognosis is good for about a third. So we divide them in 3 different groups. So a third of people who get schizophrenia usually just have one episode, take medication and treatment, and get better. Then about a third of them will continue to have different relapses.
Right.
Yeah. And then another third will end up having just chronic symptoms even if they have medication. So we're hoping that together with the medication, like antipsychotic medication, the psychological therapy and the social aspects of care, that Stephen will get better.
Okay.
Would you like to hear more about the medication?
Will you have to take it forever? Is it like tablets or something?
Yes, the medication is antipsychotic medication, and the newer group we use are the atypicals, which have less side effects. And usually we say they need to take medication for at least 1 to 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. There are side effects as well of the medication. Would you like me to explain?
Please, yeah.
So some of the side effects, we call them, sorry for the name, the term, but it's called extrapyramidal side effects, which are shakiness and stiffness of the joints. But usually with a newer group, as I mentioned, the side effects are less.
Okay.
I did explain to you more that there are some psychological therapy and social aspects of care, and we work in a team.
Right.
So we will hope to get Stephen better, working with the occupational therapists, the nurses, psychologists, and also we will try and get him back into college as well if he gets better.
Okay.
Is there any other questions you have?
Will you be in hospital for long? Do you know
Well,
out?
usually we keep people in hospital until they get better.
Right.
It's difficult to say, it's still early days and we've only just started him on medication.
Okay.
So I can just have a meeting again with you and we can discuss how his progress has been.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for talking to me today. I'll give you some leaflets so you can have a read about schizophrenia and the medication.